Update time! So the girl that assaulted the Asian mom on the F train turned herself in. And I'm so conflicted. She's only 16. I am happy, however, this incident was recorded, as we should all be accountable for our actions. While the NYPD did initially say that the hate crimes unit was investigating this assault, no hate crime charges were lodged against the teen, as they do not believe that race was a motivating factor of the assault.
Not too long ago on a New York City subway, an Asian family was verbally harassed by 3 teenage girls. Why? Who knows? I mean, I highly doubt it was provoked from the Asian family. I mean, think about it, as a father, a mother, and their 2 young girls on the subway. Why would they provoke, young teenagers sitting across the aisle from them? It makes no sense to me. But the question is, why is this not being considered as anti-Asian hate crime? I mean, not too long ago, the federal government made it into law about anti-Asian hate crimes, and mainly was due to what happened in Atlanta back in I think it was March of 2021, when a young man by the name of Robert Aaron Long had shot and killed 8 Asian people. 6 of them were women that were killed, and they worked at massage parlors out there in I believe near Atlanta, Georgia. Now he claims that the reason why he killed them was not because due to hate for Asian people. It was due to the fact that he had some type of perverted sexual addiction going on within himself. But if you can see right here on the picture, he's a white guy. So if you're white and you kill Asian people, anti-Asian hate crime. So lo and behold, President Biden, 2 months later, I believe in May of 2021, he signs the anti-Asian hate crime bill.
I believe with every fiber of my being that there are simple core values and beliefs that should bring us together as Americans. One of them is standing together against hate, against racism, the ugly poison that has long haunted and plagued our nation. All of this hate hides in plain sight. It hides in plain sight. And too often, it is met with silence. Silence by the media, silenced by our politics, and silenced by our history.
Silenced by media, politics, and history. That basically sums it up right there. Because when there's a crime done to Asian people by someone that's non-white, especially when it's one of us black folks, yes, that's truly a silence. Silenced by the media, silenced by politics, and going off what happened recently, silenced by history. Because once again, it doesn't fit the narrative. Apparently, that's the only reason I could think of. I mean, convict a black person for committing a crime on an Asian person. I mean, think about it. How does that help the narrative? And that's why something like this has to be spoken up against. Because this is not to help or protect black people. This is anything to make things worse for us. Because we're not convicting the criminals within our own community. I mean, just looking here at the Bureau of Justice Statistics, which is under the U.S. Department of Justice, it states that violence against Asian Americans is in fact a diverse and minority affair, with the 2019 Bureau of Justice Statistics report, showing that 27.5% of violent criminals targeting an Asian victim are black and only 24.1% are white. Now look, I know there's more white people in American society than there is black people. So based on those percentages, if we just go by volume, there are more attacks on Asians by white people by volume. But when there's a high percentage, when we have the highest percentage of attacks on Asian people and it's not being addressed, this is basically the pink elephant in the room that they don't want us to talk about. They don't want us to talk about this because this is gonna hold us black folks accountable. And you only hold someone accountable that you deem is responsible. And they don't deem us responsible. So they're not gonna hold us accountable for this. But I beg to differ. As a black man, I truly believe us black folks, us black people, I believe we are responsible people. Therefore, we are accountable people. Don't let the few bad apples that they say ruin the whole entire basket. I mean, that's why I always advocate to speak out against this, regardless of race, creed, or color. I mean, justice is justice. If we don't pursue justice in a correct manner, then we can't get mad when injustice is done against us in an incorrect manner. So apparently nothing's being done so far in the situation on the New York City subway. And, one of the reasons is just listen to what the mother on the subway had to say.
I don't want this to be a Black versus Asian. I don't want to fan the flames.
Retired Dr. Sue Young, her husband, and their twin 11-year-old daughters were riding a southbound F train near the West 4th Street station Thursday night around 8 p.m. That's when police say 3 young women got into a dispute with the family. As you can see from the cell phone video released by police, it escalated into a brawl when one bystander, Joanna Lynn, started taking this cell phone video.
The girl in the white t-shirt, she's the one who just started coming right at me. And then we ended up locking hair, grabbing each other's hair. All I could think of was just to protect my head. I didn't want to get injured. And so I pulled her head and I buried my face in there so she couldn't hit it. But my 2 girls said that they saw the other teens come and pin me down onto the bench, which kind of explains all the bruises that I have.
Police say one of the girls made an anti-ethnic remark, and according to the bystander taking the video, she was also hit in the head at least 3 times.
The girls, I want them to be caught, but not, I don't want this to ruin their lives. I don't want it to be where now here's a stigma and now you can't get a job.
And no, the thing is, no, these young ladies need to suffer consequences in order to correct their actions. Now, I'm not saying that these young girls should be put into jail for perpetuity, because they young, they have their lives ahead of them, to be, mothers, wives, career women, boss babes, whatever they may be. So I'm not saying that, but they should suffer some type of consequence to hopefully curb the behavior. I mean, that's what I do with my child, and that was done to me when I was a kid growing up. You did something bad, you had to suffer the consequences. There was a level of punishment, and by doing that, eventually the person, most likely, not all the time, but most likely, they'll curb their behavior and stop doing the bad things. People only going to do what they're not getting a lot of pushback for. If we're not pushing back against this type of criminal activity, especially when you're young, what do you think is going to happen when they get older? That's common sense right there. I mean, just recently, not too long ago, I think like about a month ago, look what happened on the subway station up in Seattle. And this is from a grown man. Now, there's no audio on this particular video, but if you watch right here you see a black man enters on the subway out there in Seattle, walks to the back, and you can't really make it out, but basically what he's doing, he's just stabbing a dude. I mean, just stabbing him, just going at it. The passengers, they just stand up, they run away. They hear that the altercation, they get up, they move away. Guy grab his kid, they pull the old man out. You see him bleeding right there on the ground, Asian guy. And then they basically, corner this guy, the black guy, while they all get off the train, corner him, and eventually he's arrested. Now, this man, Ishmael Brown, he has a long rap sheet. He's a career criminal. Now, think about it. Maybe if he got the correct consequences back in his days when he was younger, something like this wouldn't happen. And that's why I said back to the young ladies on the train, regardless of what the Asian lady said, there have to be consequences. And we're not upholding this, regardless of an anti-Asian hate crime or not. We should not prosecute somebody just because of the color of the victim and the color of the perpetrator. It can't work that way. But of course, in America, they're pushing this one because they want us to continue to have a division amongst the people. And unfortunately, a lot of times, as black people, if you go back in our history, especially after Reconstruction and after slavery and so forth, we're always used as pawns. We're always used as political pawns every election season. We're used as, social pawns in order to push some type of agenda or some type of policy that's not going to benefit us in the end. And my last example, you see that there was a lot of robberies going out there in California, specifically around the Oakland, San Francisco area. And I remember, there was a rapper, YG, came out not too long ago with a song called Meet the Flockers. And basically in that song, he talks about, robbing Asian homes. homes owned by Asian people. I mean, I couldn't believe he actually came out with a song like that. I mean, he eventually edited the song so it could be re-released and re-uploaded with a new version, taking out the lyrics about robbing Asian people. But I mean, just think about some of the lyrics he said in that song. I mean, I remember he would say something in the song like, you know, you find a house, you scope it out, you find a neighborhood where they don't believe in bank accounts. Like, I'm listening to this, I'm like, what the? I'm like, this guy's getting a tutorial on how to rob? I mean, I believe 50 Cent did the same thing. But in any event, he does this song and it didn't fall on deaf ears. As you can see right here, that a lot of Asian people, especially out there in Oakland, California, they're getting their house robbed by black people.
One of the home invasions listed in police documents obtained by the I-Team. Monday of this week, an 80-year-old man and a 69-year-old wife are caring for their 2 grandchildren when robbers break in a second-floor window. The men held the couple at gunpoint for nearly 40 minutes. A terrifying ordeal, their daughter tells me.
During this time, my mom was trying to rush them out of the house by saying, hey, you know, someone's going to be home soon. My son-in-law is going to be home from work soon, so we need to hurry up and get what you need. You know, she offered them cash and say, hey, if what you're looking for is cash, here's cash, but just take it. Please don't hurt any of us.
The criminals got away with $10,000 in cash and jewelry. The sources gave me a copy of an internal advisory that says OPD has series of approximately 50 to 12.5 or first-degree robberies targeting Asian homes, mostly elderly couples in Oakland Hills area. This cinematographer had his front door pushed in 2 weeks ago, just before 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it was very loud. It was like an explosion. We thought, I don't know, something crazy happened or on the street, but it was coming from inside the house.
Tony tells me one of the robbers chased him up the stairs with a knife, and he barricaded the bedroom door while his wife called 911.
We were just terrified. We were just screaming at the top of our lungs, hoping someone would hear us.
The police arrived within minutes, but the criminals got away with $40,000 in camera gear. I told Tony about the police alert that criminals are targeting homes owned by Asian families.
With Asian hate crimes and everything, it was already hard to exist as an Asian in this community, and now it sounds even harder.
Yeah, this is something serious. I mean, once again, I know I'm gonna be called sellout. I know I'm gonna be called coon. I know all the names, but I truly believe and know for a fact that if you truly love black people and you truly love just, you know, justice and the letter of the law, you're going to have to speak out against this, because it's not me that's saying this. It's not, you know, Candace Owens, or it's not, you know, whoever the other black people, or what do you call it, Thomas Sowell and other people on YouTube that speak out against black people. They're not the coons. The coons basically are the criminals that we're not, you know, advocating to have, you know, either locked up or somewhat persecuted, because all they're going to continue to do is perpetrate the violence over and over and over again, and it's going to affect us. So while people are getting upset, talking about racism happening in Alabama, doing that boat brawl, which, like, once again, I did a video on it, and yeah, it could have been racist. We don't know. However, we should not be focusing so much time on that. We need to focus on what's going on in our community, where people that look like us are doing things to us, and that make sure they're held accountable when they do it to other people. Because otherwise, what's going to happen? You think a black person that does a crime against an Asian person is not going to harm you or me or myself because we're black? It doesn't work that way, and we know that. So if we truly have our anti-Asian crime bill, utilize it. Not only when a white guy kills Asian people up in Atlanta, Georgia, not just because of that, but anytime an actual crime happens to an Asian person because they're Asian. So, you know, that's why I feel about this whole situation. This Asian crime thing is getting worse, and I'm afraid that what's going to happen is that it's going to filtrate more into the black community. It's naturally, that's what it seems like it's going to be, the natural progression and pattern. But you know, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, why do you think this Asian crime situation is not being taken care of?